inside the mind of a soon-to-be billionaire. Today's true story is pretty amazing, and it will give you insight into the mind of a billionaire before he made billions. This is the story of a young man who started a business, and because of his optimistic nature, he named it Cadabra, after the cartoonish magical term abracadabra. But in the first year of his business, magic didn't happen, and his business was spilling out much more cash than it was taking in. And to make matters worse, he was dead broke. He had spent all his savings. He had spent all the money he had borrowed to start the business. He already felt the pressure of owing a large chunk of money to his parents. But he was under the gun because if he didn't come up with the money within 45 days, his business, his baby, would die. His balance sheet was not good. Let me break from this story for just a second to ask you, have you ever been in a tough spot? Have you ever felt the pressure of risking the money of people you loved? How is your balance sheet? Well, the truth is that if you have the right mindset, it does not matter what your balance sheet looks like. Because as you'll discover in a moment, the most important success factors are not on a balance sheet. What did Jeffrey Preston do? I'll reveal that answer in a moment. But first, let's back up for a second so I can properly introduce you. This is the story of Jeffrey Preston. Jeffrey never knew his biological dad. But while pregnant, his mom met a Cuban refugee, and later they got married. 5 years later, the Cuban man adopted Jeffrey. Jeffrey was a super nerdy kid. In fact, he got scholarships to college and graduated at the top of his class. Not long after college, he got a job leading a team whose sole purpose was to find exciting new opportunities for his employer, an investment company. His team created a 3-step method for finding rich new opportunities, and that's how he uncovered the stellar idea for his exciting new business. Before grabbing the business idea for himself, of course, he offered it to his employer. To his surprise, the employer promptly rejected it. And that's when Jeffrey Preston decided to start the business himself. He was so serious that he moved from New York to Seattle just because he thought that would be the ideal place for his business. On his way to Seattle, while his friend drove, he wrote out a business plan. When he arrived, he bunked with a friend while working hard and laying a fairly good foundation for his new business, an internet store. The store started with good sales, but to fill the orders, he had to hire people, and that's what brought him to the cash flow crisis that I mentioned at the start of this recording. How did he feel about having his back against the wall and being forced to produce cash? Well, you might be shocked how he actually felt. Here's what a couple of employees said. They said, "I don't know if Jeff ever worried about financing because he was so focused on the business plan." Another one said, "He was just so sold on what he was doing that he naturally assumed it would take care of itself." His cool, calm confidence and inner faith became a cornerstone of his eventual business success. And even though his balance sheet didn't show a positive cash flow, he found investors who were willing to bet on him and his business. For just a second, please consider your personal balance sheet. On one side are the assets, and on the other side are the liabilities. There's a dollar value for each. And around the world, businesses use balance sheets to determine value. But just as Jeff discovered, balance sheets don't show your real value. Your real value is not based on some numbers on a sheet of paper. Your real value, at least partially, is based on what you are willing to do from this point forward. On a balance sheet, there's no column for desire or lessons learned. There's no column for the obstacles that you've already overcome to get where you are today. So please, don't judge yourself based on a balance sheet. And don't fall into the trap of comparing your balance sheet to your neighbor's. Instead, dance to the beat of your own drum. Give yourself credit for how far you've come. Give yourself credit for taking the time to listen to my crazy ramblings, because it shows that you're one of the few people who actually takes actions towards what you truly want. Sorry, I may have gotten a little carried away here. Alright, let's get back to the story. Let me mention that before launching his business, Jeff didn't have money for advertising. So he used all the free advertising methods that he could find. One free publicity method was to list your business on an internet directory. But there was one problem. Companies were listed in alphabetical order, and Cadabra was too far down the list. That's when he changed his business name to Amazon.com. So, as you know from that name, eventually the magic did happen. Oh, one more thing about his name. When he was adopted, he picked up the name of his Cuban adoptive dad. That name was Bezos. Today, Jeff Bezos and his dad are still very close, and they share a wild sense of humor. Less than 7 years from the start of his company, Jeff Bezos became Time Magazine's Man of the Year and a billionaire. Hi, this is Mark, the creator of this video. Just to make sure that you get the exact keys Jeff used to unlock his bright future, I've created a special short video. It gives you 3 keys to business success, and more importantly, you also get 3 keys to life success. This video is so good that it's only at www.moreprogress.com/Jeff, Jeff. Check it out and you can unlock your bright future, just like Jeff did. I'll see you there.